The order of operations in Max MSP is right to left and top to bottom. Let's take a look at what that means. If we have the print object, I can send various messages to it that will show up in the Max console. But what happens if I trigger all three of these messages at once? Let's add a bang and then connect them up and see what happens. You would expect that normally it would go 1, then 2, then 3. But here we see its output 3, 2, 1. Again, this is because the order of operations goes from right to left and then from top to bottom. If I change the placement of 3 and 2, watch what happens. Now we have 1, 2, 3. This is very important to keep in mind when you're programming in Max. The reason for this is that nearly every object has some sort of hot inlet on the left, which will always show up in red, and a cold inlet. Let's take a look at that with a really, really common object, the plus object. I've got two inlets. You can see that the leftmost is red or hot, and the rightmost is blue or cold. This means that if I send a message into the right inlet first, what's going to happen is that it will take that and use that to set the argument, what we're adding to whatever comes in the left inlet. When it receives the message in the left inlet, it will take that, it will add it with whatever we gave it in the right, and then output it. Let's try that real quickly. So, if I just click the left one, the 1 going into the left inlet, it just comes out as 1. There's nothing that it's being added to, it's null. If I click on the 2, however, nothing is added. It's just setting the argument in here. The reason that it's not outputting is because you can only output when the hot inlet, the leftmost inlet, is triggered. So now if I click the 1, we have 1 plus our argument of 2 equals 3. This is a really, really important concept to be very familiar with. Another thing to really consider is also what happens when you have comma-separated messages. Let's take a look back here with our print object. Here we had 1, 2, and 3, but there's another way we can write this. If I separate them with commas, and then send them to one hot inlet, it comes out in the order in which we wrote them. 1 followed by the comma, which tells it that's the end of the first message. 2 with another comma telling it it's the end of the second message, followed by 3. All of this is one message, but the comma separation makes it very easy. This is a trick you're going to be using many, many times, especially when we work with OSC routing. But be careful. Watch what happens if you don't have the commas in it. My output is 1, 2, 3. All is one message. The comma separation has to be in there. Otherwise, you just get one massive dump of information.